this head. I do. How many worship you? Come on, get those hands in the air. I do worship you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Welcome to the Community Shall Be Restored. I'm your host, Prophet Cedric Banks, along with
Prophet Diana Banks.
we have a tremendous show for you today. But before we do that, Pastor Donetta, you want to give out our websites where the people out there in TV land can go on our websites and see what we have going.
Amen. Well, you can view previous programs of the Community Shall Be Restored television program on www.cedricbanks4detroit.com. You also can go to YouTube, Cedric Banks for Detroit, and you'll see all the various programs from the mayor to many city council members to many judges, elected officials, those running for offices, and many community programs on those two sites. Prophet Banks also have a site, which is the District 3 Block Club Development Organization Association. You can go on that website as well. It's youtube.com/District 3 Block Club Development Association. And see all his community events where he's speaking, praying, doing community services throughout numerous organizations he's in collaboration with.
Okay, we have a big event coming up on Friday, October the 21st, 7 p.m. Let them know where that's going to be at and what's all going to be taking place there and some of the people who's going to be on that forum. This is a forum what we're having, and let them know where the forum is going to be at and some of the people on the forum.
Okay. Well, Prophet Banks is president of the District 3 Block Club Development Association, and he's putting on a Judges and School Board Forum, and the forum is going to be held at the Farwell Recreation Center. It's located at 2711 East Outer Drive, and some of the participants that's going to be there, the judges, there will be Brian Morrow. He's running for a Third Circuit Court judge. He's also there. Regina Thomas, she's also going to be on the program.
He's a judge?
No, he's running.
Okay, he's running, okay.
Amen. Then Regina Thomas, she's running for Third Circuit Court. Judge Isetta Bright, she's going to be a part of the program.
Right.
She's running for 36th District Court. Judge Cynthia Latoya Miller, she's also running for 36th District Court. Judge Deborah Thomas, she's going to be there at the forum, and it's going to be October the 21st. It's a Friday at 7 p.m. at Farwell Recreation Center. And Judge Deborah Thomas is running for the Justice of Supreme Court, and so she'll be on the program. There are also going to be many school board candidates, the ones that have been endorsed by the 14th Congressional District. We have Penny Baylor, Herman Davis, Deborah Hunter Harville, Brian Charles Mack, Iris Taylor,
Wow.
Dr. John Talford, Angelique Mayberry Peterson. And then there's also going to be on the platform the proposals, the Community Benefits Agreement. Prophet Cedric Banks have brought in Eric Williams with the People's Platform. And also there will be Terry Catchings and others from Council Member Scott Benson office who will be there as well. And Prophet Banks also brought in the Regional Transit Authority proposal that's going to be going on. And so CeCe Grant, she's the coordinator for Wayne County Vote Yes Michigan. She's going to be there giving us information regarding the Regional Transit Authority. There's going to be food there, a big spread, and there's also, it's just going to be a great time. So we welcome you to come out October 21st, that's Friday, 7 p.m., Farwell Recreation Center for Prophet Cedric Banks, President of the District 3 Block Club Development Association, Judge and School Board Candidate Forum.
All right, that's tremendous. Let's go to our special guest right now. Strong in the community, strong leader in the community, doing a great work from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Brian Morrow. Brian. Welcome to the Community Shall Be Restored. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, we're happy to have you. Anytime you are someone who works in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for 12 years up under Kim Worthy, one thing we do know is that individual has integrity. We could pretty much say, we're safe to say that they have integrity. And as a prosecutor for 12 years in Wayne County, you have seen some tough cases, I imagine, huh? That you have prosecuted.
Yes.
That you have prosecuted.
Yes.
You don't have to, because the judges and everything always tell them you don't have to name the names.
Right.
But what are some of the toughest cases that you have prosecuted? And Wayne County and this is one of the top counties in Michigan.
It is.
For crime. They take on the best and the toughest cases, you know what I mean, in Michigan here. So what are some of tell us some of the cases, like you don't have to name any names, but what are some of the things that you have seen as a Wayne County prosecutor and things?
Well,
For the TV land, for those out there in TV land reaching hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people.
sure. Well, I've been deputy chief of the juvenile division for the last 12 years. And we see anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 new delinquency cases come through in Wayne County every year. And those range from school truancy to carjackings, armed robberies, homicides. We average, for example, about 5 homicides a year, unfortunately, in the juvenile division. Most recently, I tried a case that many of your listeners and your viewers may be familiar with. There was a young French artist that had come to Detroit in about a year and a half ago or so. He came to Detroit. He was kind of a free-spirited young man. Came to Detroit and wandered into the Brewster Projects at about 3 o'clock in the morning, unfortunately, and he became the target of an armed robbery and ultimately a homicide in that case. And I was the prosecutor of one of the 4 individuals that were involved in that case who was a juvenile. So I tried that case, and that was probably my most significant recent case. But I was a defense attorney before I was a prosecutor. In that capacity.
Now, how was it being a defense attorney? Because a defense attorney for Wayne County?
Yes.
Okay, so I imagine you have experienced some very, very unbelievable cases as a defense attorney.
I have, yes.
Because a defense attorney got to go up against a prosecutor.
Correct.
To save their defendant.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Many of your viewers, again, may be familiar with another case that's been in the news recently, Devontae Sand.
Right.
A young man who was 14 years old. He was convicted of a homicide that ultimately he was determined not to have committed.
Right.
He was released after 9 years in prison.
Right, that was the young boy. I think he was about 10 or 11 or something at the time.
He was 14.
14 at the time, and he spent 10 years in prison?
Correct.
Yeah. And he just 9 years, and he just got out just recently.
Correct.
Yeah.
I tried a case very, very similar to that as a defense attorney, only my client was 23 years of age. But the similarities are striking. My client had confessed to a homicide twice, in writing, as a matter of fact. And it was a case in which I was appointed to represent him by the courts. And when I first met the young man, he indicated to me that the first thing he wanted to tell me was, I didn't do this. So of course my question to him was, well, if you didn't do it, why did you say you did it twice in writing? And he said some things to me that to me strike a lot of similarities with the Devontae Sanford case. He was told that if he said certain things that he would get off. He just didn't really understand the process when he confessed. So I represented him as a defense attorney and vigorously represented him. I was up against a very good Wayne County prosecutor in the homicide division, very good reputation. But I worked very hard to defend this young man because he told me he didn't do it. And I was told by numerous people, other defense attorneys, for example, that I should try and plead him out, that I was never going to win this case. In fact, I was told you really should withdraw from this case if he wants to go to jury trial, because you're never going to make any money as a defense attorney doing that. Instead, I defended him to the full degree that I could. I believe we were in trial for 2 weeks, and as a result of my work on that case, the jury came back in 45 minutes not guilty.
Oh, wow.
And it was for me a vindication of the work that I did.
Yeah.
And I, quite frankly, I think if Devontae Sanford had had the same type of representation, he may not have spent 9 years in prison, quite frankly.
He would have had good representation, same representation. Okay, we're here today with Wayne County Prosecutor Brian Morrow, who's doing an outstanding job. And you work up under Kim Worthy?
I do, yes.
Now, has she been an inspiration to you, or how? Because we know Kim Worthy is one of the best in the business.
She is one of the best in the business.
We know that. We've seen her take down, was it Starsky and Hutch? Is it they called them
Yeah.
back in the 90s? What was that?
Nevers and Butson.
Nevers and Butson, but they called them
Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch over there on the southwest side of Detroit.
Right.
And has she been a mentor to you? What has she brought anything to your life? Because you're a Wayne County prosecutor, also assistant up under Kim Worthy. How did she affect your life, if any?
Well, Kim and I have been friends, personal friends, for 30 years.
Wow.
And she knew me as a defense attorney. She knew me before I was a defense attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was named a prosecutor back in 2004, she approached me because she knew I liked to work in juvenile court.
Mm-hmm.
And she approached me about becoming part of her administrative group in the juvenile division.
Mm-hmm.
But I have always known her to be a person of high integrity. I remember her telling me years and years ago about a case in which it was a high-profile case, and she was just a first or second year assistant prosecutor, and her going to John O'Hare and saying, you know, I know this is high profile, but I just got information which leads me to believe that this individual is not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And John O'Hare told her, and I'll never forget this, she told me, if you believe he's not guilty and you don't think the evidence supports it, dismiss the case. I don't care what kind of profile this case has. And that's what she did. And that's how she tries to impart on all of her assistant prosecutors, we're there to do justice. And if it's a matter of dismissing a case when you don't have the evidence to support it, that's what you do. And so one of the inspirational things that she has done for me as a deputy chief of the juvenile division is she's allowed me to create a program called Teen Court. It's a juvenile diversion program that I had seen in other jurisdictions, but we didn't have it in Wayne County. And even before I started with the office, I approached her about the idea of bringing it to Wayne County, and she was very supportive of that. And it's a program that allows kids to not have records for some of this stupid stuff juveniles do. If you'd like me to go into detail about what the program looks like, I'd
Go
be
ahead.
happy to do
Go
that.
right ahead. Because the TV audience need to hear that. Go right ahead.
Yeah, it's a program that unfortunately doesn't get as many accolades as I think it should. And basically what we do is we take kids that are just starting to get off track. It may be shoplifting, it might be minors in possession of alcohol, possession of marijuana, but otherwise they're decent kids. And we actually contact their parents and ask, you know, what kind of kid is this that we're dealing with? And parents, quite frankly, are very frank. They'll tell me sometimes, you know, this individual is, I'm surprised it's the first time we've ever seen him. He's running with the wrong crowd, he's getting involved in other things. That's not the juvenile we want to bring into this program. We're just trying to get the good kids, kids that are just starting to get off track, and get them right back on track without records. So if a parent tells me, you know, this is a good kid, he goes to church every Sunday, I'm really surprised that he got involved in the shoplifting case, those are the kids that we're going to basically take and put in front of a group of other teenagers. And currently we have this program in 7 high schools in the city of Detroit. And what we do is we put them in front of those other teenagers. The teenagers ask them 20 minutes worth of questions about why they did what they did. Are they doing other things that might get them into trouble, perhaps even more serious things? And it's remarkable how honest kids will be when they're questioned by other kids. They will divulge things even though their parents are sitting right there in the room. things that you know the parents have been asking them about for a while. For example, are you smoking weed? They probably tell their parents, no, I never smoked weed before. A kid asks them the same question, they'll tell them. So once we kind of get all the issues on the table, the teen juries will come up with a sentence. And if the juvenile that we put in front of the teen juries complies with that sentence, we in the prosecutor's office, we don't charge them. So it's not on the record, doesn't impact their ability to get a job or financial aid down the road, those types of things. And it's been phenomenally successful getting kids back on track without records, and the rate of recidivism, meaning do they pick up any new cases after that process, has been tremendously low. The other big benefit is to the kids that we sit on those juries, because they get to see other people's mistakes, think through the process that brought them into this situation, and hopefully they take that mindset now and they go back to the community and they don't make those same mistakes.
Okay, have the children had any success by them seeing other children that have made mistakes, that have got in trouble, consequences have come up over their life? Have these children just sitting back, being in that environment, just watching them, have you seen any improvement or any success rate out of them?
Yeah, some of these kids become school leaders. We follow them.
It's almost like Scared Straight, if that's what kind of like Scared Straight in a way.
In a sense, there's a little Scared Straight element to it, but more of it's just positive peer pressure.
Okay.
And what you see coming out of these kids, and I talk to them at the beginning of the school year, and you'll ask them, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you see yourself doing as an adult? Most of them don't know. But at the end of the program, after they've gone through teen court after teen court after teen court, a lot of them want to be judges. They want to be lawyers. Again, they want to go into student government. And it's been phenomenal in terms of seeing the growth of the kids that we run as teen jurors in this program. Yeah.
So, Kim Worthy, you're a Wayne County assistant prosecutor.
Yes, I'm the deputy chief of the juvenile division, but I'm still an assistant prosecutor. Correct.
Assistant prosecutor.
Yes.
Okay. Being up under Kim Worthy as the prosecutor of Wayne County for many years, were you part of her team, like researching and all of that? What was your role then? Were you researching and trying to help build this case and put cases together and find evidence and all of that? Were you in a situation like that, or what was your role?
For the most part, no, because in the juvenile division, we're kind of separated from Kim Worthy and the main group of prosecutors.
Okay.
Unless it's a juvenile case, in which case then, yes, I am involved in investigation, preparation for trial, all those things, communicating with the police departments.
Okay. Now, how are the juveniles? How are the juveniles? Are they making progress? Do you see any juveniles that because in these days and times we're losing really a generation?
We are.
It's not like it was back in the 70s when you were a child back in the 70s.
Right.
You follow me?
Oh, absolutely.
Wasn't all of the rap, and it wasn't all of the hostility that it was back then. But because one of the things we had back then, we had the village.
Yes.
You remember the village?
Yes.
You could be down the street getting a whooping. Doing something wrong, and then they will whoop you.
Right.
And then when you got home, you got another whooping.
Right.
That was the village.
Right.
But now, in this time and era, we got people now that will literally turn their head, the adults. They won't chastise and things like they used to do back in the 70s and things like that. So how are these kids today up under a juvenile setting? Does it look like, that they're going to turn things around? It looks like they're going to make progress. Are you seeing any progress being made in the juvenile system with these kids in the juvenile system? Are you seeing, Mr. Morrow, any type of progress being made? And once again, we're here to welcome all of you all are viewing the TV show. Welcome. We have Brian Morrow here, Assistant Prosecutor, Wayne County, Assistant Prosecutor. Can you tell us about that, those out there at TV Land?
Yes, and it's a great question. It really is. And quite frankly, if we weren't making progress, I'm not sure I could continue to do what I do every day.
And you know, I want to say this. It's frustrating anytime you're in a position and you have been called to try to restore the minds of people and you are not seeing any progress. That's frustrating when you're not seeing any progress.
Right.
That makes you want to throw the hat in and try another field. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you talk about things, how they've changed over the years. When certainly when I was young, before you were young. You know, if you were caught shoplifting, for example, by your parents, you would have been taken back to the store where you shoplifted,
right?
Made to apologize,
yeah.
And that would have been the end of it.
Right.
It's not like that anymore.
No, not like that.
Now stores will go to the police, and the police will charge those cases, and those cases are going to formal court. But in answer to your question, are we seeing positive results? Yes, we are. And let me just give you one example that really strikes at me in terms of just how poignant the story was. We had a young man who had been found guilty of stealing a car. So
how old was he?
He was, I believe, 14 or 15. We see a lot of kids in that age range
stealing cars.
Stealing cars. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Unfortunately, you know, it happens a lot in Wayne County, but on those types of cases, what traditionally happens is the court will place that young man or young girl on probation initially, if that's their only record. So this young man,
if they get caught one time stealing a car,
correct,
they will be placed on probation.
Most likely.
They won't do no time, no jail time, most likely.
Right.
Wow.
So this young man was placed on probation, sent back into the community, told to go to school, stay out of trouble. Within a month or so, he stole another car.
Okay.
So he got caught, went back in front of the same judge. The judge said, you know what, this probation thing doesn't seem to be working out for you.
Wow, yeah.
So we're going to have to put you in a placement. We don't call it jail for juveniles, it's a placement. He was put in a placement where he was going to go to school every day, he was going to get 3 square meals a day, he was going to get academic counseling if he needed it, family counseling, individual counseling, any kind of drug treatment if that was what was needed. Basically services to rehabilitate the young man.
Now, is he confined during these times, or is he doing this from home, or he's doing this from a Wayne County facility?
He's doing this from a facility. He's taken out of the home and put into a facility.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Correct.
Okay.
Depending on the security level of the facility, he may be allowed home passes to go home on weekends, things like that, at some stage in his progress.
Okay. That's if he's making progress?
Correct.
Okay.
And in this individual's case, he was put into a program which was, I believe, a 6-month program, and about 5 months in, the case managers that were overseeing the progress of this young man came to the court and said, look, he's done pretty much everything he was supposed to do. He hasn't quite finished the program yet, but he's doing really well.
He was making progress.
He's making progress. In fact, he was a model resident. He was mentoring other kids in the program. He was doing very well academically, behaviorally.
So he had got in there and turned his life around then.
He did.
Did he?
He did.
Now, okay, keep going.
And the court said, you know what, young man, he said, you know, this costs the county several $100s a day to keep you in this program.
Right.
He said, but obviously you're making progress. He said, but I'm going to give you the choice.
So let me ask you a question, Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor. I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
So it costs the county money. This is for the TV audience, because I know. It costs the county money to keep somebody in jail.
In jail or in one of these juvenile facilities.
One of the juvenile facilities.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how much money that costs?
It depends on the security level of the facility. The more secure the facility, the more it costs. So I believe it's anywhere between $200 to $400 a day to keep a kid in place.
Okay, $200 to $400 a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the county, wow, that's really something.
Yeah.
Costs money to keep them. It costs money to keep them in jail.
Right.
Okay.
Well, this young man was given the choice. He could walk away from court and go back home without quite finishing the program, or the court said, look, if you think you need to finish the program, you can go back and finish.
Mm-hmm.
So as a prosecutor, I'm sitting to myself thinking, he's never going to elect to go back to the program.
Mm-hmm.
He's given the choice to go home. To just kind of give you the sense of how he'd matured over time, he said to the judge, Judge, could I have 5 minutes to talk to my family before I make that decision?
Mm-hmm.
Went back, he talked to his family for 5-10 minutes, came back, said, Judge, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to my family. He said, I realize I'm the only male figure they have in this family. Again, he was about 15 years old at that time. He said, I need to get this right. If I don't get it right this time, I'm going to end up either in prison or I'm going to end up dead.
Wow.
And he said, I need to finish the program. So he went back to that facility and finished the program.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing there.
It is amazing.
That is amazing.
And those are the success stories that really keep us as prosecutors going.
Do you know most kids will be so anxious to get back out there in the streets?
Oh, sure.
Get me out of this confined place 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I got to get out of here.
Right.
But he chose to go back to the program. How long did he have to stay in that program? How long was the remainder of that program?
About a month and a half.
About a month and a half? So he went back to finish?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Yep. Yeah, these programs vary between 3 to 6 months on the low secure facilities to a year to 18 months on the high secure facilities.
Okay. You know, we're here today with Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor Brian Morrow. Pastor Donetta, do you have a question for Assistant Prosecutor of Wayne County for Brian Morrow?
From your background in defense, as a defense attorney, as a prosecuting attorney, and even as at Wayne County, which do you conceive to be the most rewarding to you, and the one that you have greater passion for?
You know, that's an interesting question. I liked both equally. I really did. I love what I do right now. I couldn't say.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now, you're representing a person who killed somebody,
Yes.
and they're trying to, and they may have a bad record,
Yes.
a track record, other than that killing what they had, and the prosecutor's out to take them down, and you're defending them. And do people ever look at you like, or have you had that experience like, you're representing a crook?
Yes.
Because defense attorneys, sometimes they get that stigma on them that they are representing a crook. Assistant Prosecutor Brian Morrow, can you finish that up in 1 minute, and this show will be done?
Sure.
It'll be in the books.
Okay. Yes, I've had that experience, and particularly when you're representing someone who is charged with criminal sexual conduct, particularly against a child.
Right.
Who, people just abhor that behavior.
Right.
Why would you represent that person? And as a defense attorney, I always took the attitude, it's not about that individual, it's really about the system. You want the system to make sure that someone is guilty. So you're going to put the prosecution through its paces to make sure that they can prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not a matter of whether you believe that person's guilty or not guilty. You want to make sure the prosecution has the evidence to support a guilty verdict.
Wow. All right. What a show here today from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor Brian Morrow has been with us today.
And I'm running for Third Circuit Court.
And he's running for Third Circuit Court. So go out and vote November the 8th. Is it 8th?
The 8th.
The 8th. Go out and vote November the 8th. All right.
Can I get a witness here? How many worship you? Come on, get those hands in the air. I do worship you. Yes, sir.